Thank you so much, everyone. Some stories coming in pretty much. It's a political season, and you expect that as we speak. We also understand that perhaps the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, may have picked the ticket to return to the House in his home state of Bauchi. But let's tell you about what is happening in Ogun State, where the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in the 2019 general election, Mr. Adekunle Akinlade, has promised to uphold the tenets of the party and not to take it for granted. The support he has so far enjoyed from party faithful. Mr. Akinlade emerged winner from the result being released a few hours ago after the primary election in that state. It's been some controversial process from the past days. So the People's Democratic Party says it has a plan to hold a transparent, fair and credible national convention that will produce an acceptable presidential candidate for 2019. The party's convention comes up this Saturday. It is a big test for the main opposition party, hoping to regain power at the center. How ready are they? Who will get a party's ticket? Is it Atiku or Saraki, Konkonso or Tambuwa, Turaki or Makarafi, and several others that are on the ballot? Let's get talking. The PDP's National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan, joins me from our Abuja studio. Also, we've been talking to Mr. Liberos Oshoma, political analyst and a lawyer. Mr. Ologbondiyan, welcome to the program. Let me quickly ask you, and perhaps you want to react to the issues of the primaries and what we have been seeing, the kind of incident that happened in Delta State. How does this appear to you, especially at a time like this?
Thank you very much, Shil. Before I go into the issue of Delta State, let me quickly respond to Mr. Oshoma's position, where he said that the parties don't have credible register. I want to place on record that the People's Democratic Party has a very credible register. And as such, our elections, particularly concerning internal democracy, are such that we have limited crisis or friction because we allow the generality of members to elect the delegates who in turn elect the candidate. And we deploy our register in achieving this. So we have a credible register in the People's Democratic Party. But having said that, it's important that I also state that the PDP Convention promises to be the best in the history of our party or in the history of politicking. Some of the stages that we have set so far is such that will allow all our aspirants to nominate 2 representatives of their own choice into the accreditation committee. We will allow our aspirants to nominate 2 representatives of their own choice to the electoral committee. And we've come up with a process that will be transparent, that will be credible, that will be clear, that will be fair, that will be free, that will be acceptable to the majority of Nigerians. And we believe, and so do strongly, that at the end of the convention, that all our aspirants will team up with a candidate that will emerge at the end of the day.
Mr. Ologbondiyan, there are a lot of controversies, and perhaps let me pick up this very one that it was a screaming headline a day after you decided to hold your convention in Port Harcourt. One of the headlines read, and I quote, it says that a governor threatened the party to hold convention in Port Harcourt. The controversy over hosting your convention in Port Harcourt has been a very big one. How did you arrive at that, and why?
Very much. Politics all over the world is also part of conflict and conflict resolution. Yes, there were fears in certain quarters about the use of Port Harcourt as the venue of our convention. But I must quickly tell you that the choice of Port Harcourt as our venue for convention went through the right processes. A committee was constituted and led by the National Legal Advisor, Barrister Emmanuel Enoyden, who went around the country and came up with a decision about Port Harcourt. Having done so, the National Working Committee agreed to the decision of the initial committee that was raised, and from there, we went to the issue went to the Board of Trustees. From there, it went to the NEC, which is the final authority before convention. And at NEC, the question was put as regards whether Port Harcourt is the most suitable venue for a national convention. And a decision was reached at the National Executive Committee meeting, which is the NEC, that Port Harcourt qualified to be the venue, and the decision was unanimous. There was no objection of any sort on the decision. And that is why, on come Saturday, we will be in Port Harcourt to elect our presidential candidate.
All right. Quickly, Mr. Oshoma, you wanted to react on a matter before we went on that break, because you have been taking up on a few issues that you raised, especially on the primary in Lagos. You said you wanted to react to the issue of the speech of the governor. Yeah,
basically, I wanted to... We saw it, after the 2014 election in Ekiti, we saw a governor for the first time, concede defeat, and in his broadcast by Fire Me Then, and I was deeply touched. And also, I have seen that maturity exhibited by Governor Akin Umeabode today. A lot of people had expected, or some were even urging him that, look, with what we saw on Sunday, the press conference, people had expected that he was going to, fight on. But with the maturity that he has displayed, kudos to him, and I expect, I wish him, greater opportunities. You think he's probably going to be a minister, a senator? Maybe, depending on the consultation. But on this issue of the PDP primaries, if anything that the spokesperson, Mr. Kola, had said is to go by, we're not discussing a new PDP or a new party. We're discussing PDP that we have known before. Now, we saw how their national convention went to elect national leaders, and how some people walked out, and even led to some people walking out of the party, moving in with Obasanjo's new political party. And so we just hope that everything that Mr. Kola had said will play out the way it is arranged. And then quickly, lastly, I also know that the way we talk about party register here, we know how PDP conducts its internal affairs. Cards are handed over to particular delegates who distribute. That's not internal democracy. And so we shouldn't just gloss over it. They should learn as opposition party now to actually show transparency in the way they do things. And so people will take let's allow Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan to close the program for us in just about less than a minute that we have. The PDP primary that we held in Delta that turned violent, you've not reacted to that. Just in few seconds, if you can quickly react to that, please.
Well, I must quickly say, before I react to that, that the PDP today has been rebranded, it has been reformed, and it has been repositioned. What Mr. Oshoma is saying has no bearing in whatever form with our new reform, repositioned People's Democratic Party. But having said that, I also want to place on record that conflict occur in the process of primaries. And as such, what has happened in Delta State is nothing that is totally strange. But I can assure you, and I'm sure you assure Nigerians, that we will return back to the crisis resolution mechanism that's internal within the PDP, and by the time we are back, the party will have get itself organized and the primary will be reconducted.
Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan, we will probably meet at the venue of the convention, and wish you the very best in the coming days. Well, Mr. Oshoma, thank you so much for coming on the program. Also, Mr. Kayode Ogunamisi, thank you so much for talking to us on the show today. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.